Now, last year, I boldly made the claims that I had zero plans to thin out my handbag collection in 2024, and yet here we are. We are not even halfway through the year, and to date, I have sold 6 bags. But just so you know, this is not a one-in, one-out situation, okay? The sad truth is this may be more of a 6-out, one-in situation where it's going to take all of those funds to not even cover a fraction of the cost of one of my 2024 wishlist bags. And that being said, selling these bags was by no means a winning situation. It's no surprise here, I lost money again on all of these bags. We're talking bags from Louis Vuitton, from YSL, and yes, even from Hermes. And to make matters worse, some of these bags have only been used a handful of times, and that's me being very generous with my math. So we're talking about a cost per wear of hundreds of dollars here. And while in the past that may have bothered me to the point where I would rather hang on to a bag, even if it no longer served me, like cue Jason Mraz's I Won't Give Up on Us, I've just now made peace with the fact that buying designer handbags is a losing game. Like, you gotta love the game enough to be okay with losing. Does that make sense? Because the sooner it does, the better you will feel about letting go of bags that no longer serve you or your collection. Anyway, you know the drill when it comes to these videos, right? I'll share what bags I sold and why. And as a disclaimer, please note that I still love all of these bags, okay? I loved them enough to bring them home, which says a lot. So if you have these bags and they are working out for you, then please do not sell yours. Love them, enjoy them, use them, let them fulfill their destiny. And as for me, I will continue to admire these bags, but just from afar. Now, before we continue, do you guys notice anything new today? So with all of my recent jewelry videos and close-up shots of my hands, I don't know if Madam Glam was watching and thought, good heavens, that poor girl really needs a nail makeover, but they graciously sent me a package, and how perfect, right? Madam Glam primarily sells at-home gel kits with the UV lamp and the whole shebang, which is amazing for my girlies out there who love to have their at-home alone spa time and who also have the ability to just make their nails just killer. But that is not me. And I love how Madam Glam understood that and quickly realized that I was not the target market for something like that. So while I cannot speak to how well their gel nail sets are, I do want to share with you their press-on nails. They sent me 3 different finishes, and each box comes with 24 press-on nails in 12 sizes, 24 adhesive tabs, and a nail file and a wooden stick. They also kindly sent me extra adhesive tabs so I can reuse these for later. So for today's video, I decided to go a little crazy and do a little accent nail situation here. I also like how all it takes is some cuticle oil to remove them. Now, Madam Glam was kind enough to provide a coupon code for 35% off your entire order. I will have their links below, and I hope you check them out. I am all for supporting small and growing businesses. You can sign up to be a VIP member or simply choose the pay-as-you-go option. I think it's going to be nice to have these on hand, especially if I ever have an evening event to go to and need my nails to just look a little more put together than they normally do. Now, the first 3 bags I sold for the exact same reason. You would think that I would have learned my lesson from buying that first bag and getting that initial, this may be an issue later down the road, but apparently I had temporary amnesia when I bought the other 2 bags later down the road. I'll see if you can guess what the underlying issue was. So the first bag I sold was my Louis Vuitton Croisette in the Damier Azur print. The second bag was my Hermes Zip 31 her bag in the Chris Viking canvas in the natural sable color. And the third bag that I sold was my YSL small Le Monogram satchel in canvas in the chestnut color. Now, if you're wondering if you have ever seen that bag on this channel, the answer is no, you have not. But we'll get into all that. Now, if you were going to guess that the issue with all 3 bags was that they had untreated or natural leather trims, then you would be correct. So I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but I decided to let these bags go because they were still in pristine condition, like new condition, you know? I know, right? Like sometimes I don't even understand myself. I think it's because while I did use those bags, honestly, I had to force myself to use them only because I was too scared to use them too often, which meant I did not use them near enough for me to justify keeping them. Hence, they were still in pristine condition, right? Despite having had them for years. Well, at least 2 out of the 3 I had for years. Plus, when I did use them, I'm not gonna lie, I spent more time worrying about them than actually just being in the moment and enjoying doing whatever I was doing. Like I was constantly worried about staining the leather, whether that was with hand sanding or hand lotion or even just water in general. Like using a public restroom was more stressful than it should have been. So while that was the number one reason for letting these bags go, as in they just weren't carefree enough for me currently in terms of what I am looking for in a handbag, there were a few other quirks that are also worth mentioning. So take the corset for instance. So aside from the infamous vachetta crossbody strap, top handle, and buckle closure, which I mean that many separate vachetta parts was stressful enough as is, but you also have this beautiful ballerine pink canvas lining on the inside, which without an insert was impossible to keep pristine. So I basically decided to sell it before I personally could do any real damage to it, which breaks my heart because it is such a beautiful spring summer bag. Like it goes with so many outfits, and you know how I love a good top handle and crossbody bag, and it's such a great small but not too small bag. Now, I bought this brand new from store for I believe $1,700-ish, which makes it really affordable by Louis Vuitton standards. And I feel like even pre-loved, they're not relatively that much less, you know? So as ironic as this next bit is going to sound, I think if I had spilled first blood, so to speak, if I had mucked up the vachetta or the interior within the past 2 years of owning this bag would probably still be in my collection, and I would be using it in a very, very different, much more guilt-free, carefree way. So my advice is if you own this bag, you better suck it up, buttercup, and don't expect it to stay pristine. Or I guess you could go for the Damier Ebene version, but I still prefer the lighter version. There's just something so perfect about it for spring, summer. The second bag, the Her bag, that was one I was more on the fence on for letting go, but I knew when I managed to snag the Burline coated version in noir with gold hardware off the Hermes website last summer that this was just, it was living on borrowed time. It's a personal thing. I just don't want duplicate handbags, especially since I'm at the point in my collection where I am running low on shelf space. Like, I don't want to waste a space on a duplicate of a bag style / size that I already don't frequently reach for, you know? We've been through this before. The Her bag in the regular 31 size is a little too big for my daily use and literally half an inch too small to fit my laptop for work use. So it's just so tragic. I mean, if Hermes would release the Her bag in either a 25 or a 35, then we would be in business. So from a size perspective, I just don't reach for it that often. And on top of that, the Chris Viking version, I mean, it was such a beautiful neutral color, yes. And the woven canvas was a lot sturdier than the regular Her bag canvas, but it still had that natural smooth Vache Hunter leather trim like all over the bag, right? You still had it on the flap, the sangles, the strap. And again, you just have to be extremely careful, not only about staining it, but also scratching it as well because it has such a smooth finish. And so same thing, because the bag was also still in pristine condition, I just wanted to move it on before I had a chance to soil it. Looking back, I was literally more carefree with my Birkin than I was with these bags, which both were bought brand new, which is why sometimes pre-loved is the way to go because it takes the pain and pressure out of breaking in a bag, you know? Yeah, I get it's counterintuitive. The Birkin, objectively speaking, even used, was a heck of a lot more expensive than both of those bags brand new put together. But like I said, sometimes I don't even understand myself. So the last bag in this category, the YSL bag, I'm embarrassed to admit that this stayed in my collection for under half a year before I decided to move it along. Now, I bought this shortly after I bought my Mulberry Mini Base Water, and I didn't even get to unbox it on my channel, never even got a chance to film a review, which is a shame because there was so much to love about that bag. Now, I bought it pre-loved from the Real, and yes, it was an impulse purchase, and in an alternate universe where I didn't have so many casual everyday bags, that would have been an absolute workhorse. Like, you just don't see a lot of YSL monogram canvas bags bags in general, and just the coloring of the bag and the size of the monogram just made it such a timeless and classic bag without being overly elegant or dressy, you know, which for me makes for the greatest casual but luxurious everyday type bag. Also, that bag checked a number of my bag buying criteria. Like, the canvas was super durable. I loved the satchel shape of the bag itself. I mean, the bag can expand to quite a healthy degree because of the 3-gusset design. I loved the back slip pocket, and the biggest thing for me was that the bag laid flat, which meant it took up virtually no room in my closet. Hence, it was an easy impulse purchase to justify at that time. Plus, it would have been super easy to pack for trips, again, because it was a flat bag. Again, so much I absolutely loved about it, but it was just kind of ironic because that durable monogram canvas was surrounded by natural leather trims. So just keep that in mind. However, you can find lots of variations pre-loved that don't have that trim, or have that trim in a darker color if you do like that bag style. Now, the fourth bag I sold was another one that I was surprised I was okay with letting go, and it was my Louis Vuitton men's wearable wallet. Again, where do I start? Like, there's so much I loved about it. Like, if you like the idea of a wallet on chain but find them just a smidge too small, do not sleep on the men's collection, especially from Louis Vuitton. Like, their men's wallet on straps are fantastic, both in terms of their price point and functionality, because they are typically bigger than those in the women's section. So yeah, the usability of that bag was fantastic. And while you did have a guitar style strap, which most people either love or hate, because the Louis Vuitton weaving was tonal, it was so much less in your face compared to like your women's guitar straps. I also loved the functionality of the detachable key coin pouch, especially if you're someone who takes public transportation. So why did I sell it? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I was just in like a spring cleaning mode, and I hope it's not something I regret later down the line, but honestly, objectively speaking, the mini Bayswater, again, made this bag and the YSL bag a little obsolete in my opinion. Like, if I wanted a small casual bag, that's the one I've been reaching for consistently this entire year so far. And I'm still looking for a little pouch to attach to my Bayswater. And once I do that, I mean, we basically have a bag that fulfills the same purpose and function essentially, but that's a little bit more feminine. So I guess in that sense, the Bayswater is easier to dress up or down, while the wallet was much more better suited for a dressed down look. Now, the last two bags I sold were two of my Longchamp work totes. I sold my Cavalcade Shopper leather tote and the City medium tote. Now, that's the one with the coated canvas that feels and looks a lot like Louis Vuitton's Epi leather. I may or may not have a couple of new work bags to unbox or to reveal in the near future, but yeah, you could straight up say that I most definitely did not sell those totes to make money or even to remotely recoup any money, but I purely just wanted the additional shelf space in my closet, and I wanted to upgrade several of my work bags, as in I couldn't bring home any more new bags without letting some go. Also, I still have 3 of the regular Longchamp Le Pliage totes that I do still use for work, and they fold up to nothing, you know. Now, would I recommend Longchamp non-nylon bags? Abso-hecking-lutely. Like, Longchamp leather is fantastic, and so is their coated canvas City line. I mean, I've owned Louis Vuitton Epi leather in the past, and even though this is a coated canvas, you honestly wouldn't have known otherwise. So I 100% recommend trying out some of Longchamp's less traditional non-nylon materials. You will not be disappointed. Now, for me, I'm just at that point in my collection that something had to give. It was either clear off some shelf space, relocate my bags to another part of the house, or rebuild the closet. And I know there is a fourth option, which is just to leave my collection as is, but we wouldn't have a luxury handbag channel then, now would we? I by no means have a large designer handbag collection, but I definitely have more than what the average person has or needs, and I definitely have more than what traditional closets would allow me to store and display comfortably. And so, as much as I wish I had the closet real estate to just keep adding bags without subtracting any, I know that's not the type of collector I want to be either. Also, I know I sometimes call myself a minimalist, but that's not necessarily true. I think I'm more of a functionalist, if that's even a word. I'm just trying to be better about letting go of bags that don't serve me anymore, either because my lifestyle has changed or honestly I've found something better. Again, you just gotta love the game enough to be okay losing at times. So have you let go of any bags this year? Like, please let me know down in the comments below. Like, what were they and why did you decide to move them along? I always love hearing about how others curate their collection. I find that super helpful. And if you've made it to the end, thank you so much for sticking around, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I can't wait to catch up with you again next time.